Egypt says its electricity sharing project with Sudan is now ready. A deal was signed between both countries 2 years ago. Since then, infrastructure has been improved to pave the way for the new power project. CGTN's Yasa Hakim has more.
It's been a year in the making. Once Sudan is ready, Egypt plans to export about 40 megawatts of electricity as a testing period at the end of the month. The project is on 2 phases. Egypt would supply Sudan with 300 megawatts in the first phase this year and up to 3,000 megawatts starting 2020.
We have large reserves of electricity in our grid, and one of the main aspects to benefit from it is through exporting to become a regional energy hub in Africa on one side and Europe on the other. This project will help in the economic development of Sudan and other African countries which suffer from a shortage of energy.
Egypt has constructed 300 electricity towers over 100 kilometers to supply electricity to its neighbor. The project costs about $75 million. Egypt will sell electricity at the subsidized local market price of about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. But Cairo is willing not to receive cash payments from its southern neighbor.
Sudan has multiple economic issues, including high unemployment and low investment rates. Sudan prefers to export products such as livestock and agricultural goods instead of cash payments to Egypt in return for energy. Egypt has agreed to this formula and is willing to do the same with any other African nation that wants to invest with Egypt.
The government hopes this project will be the link to power sharing with other African countries, as Chad, Eritrea and South Sudan are next in line. Egypt is trying to make optimum use of the surplus in its electricity production. Similar power sharing projects are in the pipeline with Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Cyprus. Yas Hakim for CGTN, Cairo.
The hunt for scarce fuel is on again for motorists in Zimbabwe as the country endures yet another shortage. On Monday, hundreds of commuters were left stranded after public transport operators hiked fares due to the latest deficiencies. Faram Wakutuya has a story.
After a 150% price hike that sparked violent protests in January, fuel supplies looked to have stabilized. But persistent foreign currency woes have led motorists into queues that have resurfaced since the weekend. State-subsidized public transport has been disrupted, while other fuel-dependent businesses are reeling.
I've lost a load.
I have lost a load I was meant to get yesterday. And will probably lose another one I had lined up today too. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's bad, Baba. It's really bad, yeah.
Because the fuel station is limiting diesel to just 100 liters per vehicle, this driver says he's had to rejoin the queue to fill up his 480-liter tank.
I would rather stay here and find fuel because it would be pointless for me to go to work if I don't have enough.
That's how complicated it is.
The latest shortage has taken some motorists by surprise.
We heard recently in the press that the country has enough fuel, but when we get to the fuel stations, we don't find it. Maybe the authorities who keep telling us there is fuel should explain where it is.
Energy Minister Joram Gumbo has previously said there are adequate fuel stocks being held in bond within the country, which suppliers will release upon receiving payment in hard currency. In its recently announced monetary policy statement, Zimbabwe's central bank maintained an arrangement where it retains a percentage of exporters' foreign currency earnings to fund critical supplies such as fuel. It hopes higher export receipts on the back of new currency reforms will shore up its critically low foreign currency reserves and improve fuel supply. However, some who are waiting in long queues believe a broader solution is required.
I think dialogue should be open. It shouldn't be selective. They should engage everyone and sit down and talk about these issues. Because everyone has an angle of how this issue should be addressed.
President Emerson Mnangagwa has initiated a multi-party dialogue aimed at addressing social and economic challenges besetting the country. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
And we still have more news for you here on the program. Here's what's ahead. We see how a growing number of African-inspired recipes are exciting American taste buds.
Data out of the country. The country's foreign currency reserves.
With a dedicated and diverse team of anchors, CGTN now brings Africa to the palm of your hand.
I'm Perina Karibe in